Hey, Fierce Feminines! As we close out the year, I thought it would be the perfect time to share with you 10 personal growth lessons to take into 2024. But as always, before we get into it, let's do our emotional check-in. How are you feeling in this moment? I want you to spend some time thinking about it. And while you think about it, I'll share with you how I'm feeling. Um, I'll be honest with you. This is the third time I'm recording this episode. So the first time I was going to be sharing with you that I feel very calm and confident. But third try recording, I want to say I'm feeling confident, but I'm feeling slightly irritated. And I'm hoping this recording goes according to plan. Hopefully you spend time touching into your emotion and identifying your emotion. And before we get started, we are going to get started. But before we get started, I do want to quickly share that on the oil burner today is lemongrass. And this room smells absolutely amazing right now. So yay for that. I really wish you could be here to honestly to smell it, but no, that just sounds weird. Anyway, let's just get into it. Let's get straight to it. So as I said, also before I forget, yay, December. Hopefully you're excited about your December plans, whatever they are, and already taking stock and telling yourself what you want to see in 2024. I was about to say 23 in 2024. We are going to start with the first lesson, which I feel is a very obvious lesson, but it's obvious, but we don't pay attention to it. And that is that growth takes time. So, guys, the thing is, especially with the world we live in now, I think everything's so fast, 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 convenient, right? You want to take away, order it. You want this, buy it. Like there's next day delivery. There's even same day delivery when you order things. So a lot of us, when we want things of ourselves or of the universe, it's just like, well, why don't I have it now? So 2023 has really taught me that growth takes time, and nature is your best teacher to let you know. Like if you plant a seed, you're not gonna like the seed is not gonna grow overnight. So take your time and understand that when you plant your idea, when you start your business, stop getting upset that your business. Yes, I'm talking to I right now. I'm talking to me. Stop. No, but jokes aside, stop getting upset that you haven't made 1 million in your first year. Stop getting upset that you've just started a job and you're not promoted yet. Understand that growth takes time. And speaking of time, lesson number 2, I'm really embedded into me in 2023 is time is a man-made construct. And a lot of us know that, right? We all know that it's humans that decided that time is measured by seconds, minutes, hours, days. But the unfortunate part is that we have now used that as a burden on ourselves. I was literally talking to a client just the other day, and she was saying to me, I want to achieve so many things. And then I panic because I hear this like ticking time bomb in my head, and I tell myself, I'm running out of time, I'm running out of time, which sadly puts people into this like paralysis where they can't even function because they're so stressed and so worried that they're running out of time. But it's like, what time are you running out of? Who told you run out of time? Even take me, for example, guys, can you believe if I tell you there was a time in my life when I used to say, if I wasn't a millionaire by my 30s, then I might as well give up. Like, of course, I don't know when I'm going to live to, but let's imagine I'm going to live till 80, which means I still have 50 more years of my life. But yet I managed to tell myself, all right, if you're not a millionaire by your 30s, then like you might as well give up. It's so ridiculous saying it out loud. But I think it is partly to do the fact that a lot of times in the media, when you read up on success stories, a lot of them seem to have made their millions by their 30s. So then you start to think you're a failure because you haven't made your millions by your 30s, for example. But going into 2024, take that reminder with you that time is a man-made construct. And because you feel like you're not progressing according to a so-called time span you've given yourself, doesn't mean that nothing is happening. Things are happening. It's just that, like we said, growth takes time. So bear that in mind. I'm taking that into 2024, and I'm being very mindful of that, to not pressure myself into saying, like, if I haven't achieved something by a certain time, like, that's just arbitrary. A lot of the goals we set ourselves when it comes to time is arbitrary. So stop giving yourself like arbitrary deadlines and saying if you haven't completed something by a certain time, then it's not going to count. Like, it does count. And that actually leads into point number 3 for my personal growth. And I hope this will help you as well, is it's been very important to me to understand that my version of success is the most important version. Guys, if you're watching on the video and you wonder why I keep looking to my left, it's because I've got my notes there to remind me to stay on track. But lesson number 3 is definitely being your version of success is the most important version. I would say I started to become more aware of this and more mindful of this probably about 4-5 years ago, maybe a bit longer than that. But working with my clients and helping my clients in flourish and bloom, establish their own version of success, has been helpful in reminding me that my version of success is important. And the reason this is important is you may notice, right? And I know a lot of people who listen to this podcast are ambitious in some type of way. They probably already have a so-called version of success that looks great on paper, right? Society tells you that success is being married, is having kids, is having a decent job, is being in a 9 to 5, having stable income. But you're sitting there thinking like, but why don't I feel successful? Well, I've learned in 2023 that the reason that your version of success is the most important version is that, similar to you, I had achieved certain successes according to what society had told me or people around me told me, but I just didn't feel fulfilled. I'm like, why don't I feel fulfilled? That's because that was not my story. That's what people told me will make me feel good, but it's not what actually makes my soul excited. So for your personal growth journey, understand in 2024 that you have to define your version of success, because when you define your version of success, it makes you feel more fulfilled and it makes you that much happier, that much content when you actually do achieve whatever it is you're setting out to achieve. And that actually leads to, does it lead to number 4? No, it actually doesn't really lead to number 4, but I was trying to like casually flow into the next point, but that flopped. That did not flow. Anyway, point number 4 is consistency matters. Guys, this has been a big one. I would say 2023 has been the most consistent I have ever been for anything in my life. For a lot of people you may know, especially those on my Instagram. If you're not on Instagram yet, follow us on Instagram, The Fierce Feminine Rising. I was talking about this on Insta, the fact that this is the first time I have stuck to a physical exercise so when did I start swimming? I started swimming in April, and now we're in December. So like, that's the first time, that's 8 months. That's the first time I have stuck to any activity consecutively without being forced to do it, without someone standing there going like, you have to go to work or you're going to get fired. Like, this is the first time I stuck to something consistently, and I noticed the huge difference that consistency makes. And I'm applying that to being an entrepreneur. I'm applying that to the podcast, guys. Like, I've stayed consistent with the podcast, which is something I used to struggle to do. I'd set myself all these goals. I'd say I want to do all these things, but I'd never stay consistent. So going into 24, understand that if you want to achieve your dream life, dream career, whatever it is you're setting out to do, consistency plays a very big role. And if there's one thing you're going to take into 2024, it is knowing to stay consistent. And lesson number 5 is stay open-minded. So this has been a good one as well for 2023. I mean, I like to think I'm an open-minded person. I've always considered myself. I actually credit my open-mindedness to, number 1, moving countries. So for those of you who may not know, I was originally born in West Africa, Nigeria. I moved over with my family at the age of 13. So I definitely credit being exposed to more than one culture. I definitely credit traveling a lot more. But the biggest part I credit to helping me be open-minded is actually when I studied psychology. I really loved this about what that course gave to me, in the sense of knowing that I should pay attention and I should open up my mind to other ways of thinking and other ideas that could be brought to the table, because there isn't really any one right answer. Like anyone who studied philosophy, psychology, you will know most of the times the answer is that it's a mix of everything, or like listen to several approaches. And if you combine all of that, you then get to like the answer of what it is the question you're asking. But when it comes to personal growth, I've learned to stay open-minded, because before I used to be quite rigid in like, I tell myself I want this job, right? And I'm so convinced that this is how I'm going to get the job. But if you stay rigid and you don't open up your mind, it can impact whatever goal it is you want to achieve, because you may be closing up your mind to potential opportunities that might be there. If you're focused on, oh, I'm only going to get this job because I applied through an application form, there might be a friend somewhere that's telling you like, oh, I want you to meet up with this recruiter, and you're ignoring that because you're like, well, no, this is how I'm going to get there. So like, don't tell me anything. But just if you open up your mind to possibilities, like I've noticed that doors open with me just staying open-minded. And I noticed that when it comes to the growth of the podcast, for example, when it comes to the growth of my business, like new opportunities tend to come in very unexpected ways. So stay open-minded and it will really help you in your personal growth. Before we go on to the next few points, I actually want to pause and talk to you about my coaching program, which I launched, oh God, now it's like back in October. But for those of you who don't know yet, I am a transformational coach. I'm a psychologist and a transformational coach. And the emphasis of my coaching is helping ambitious women feel more fulfilled, purposeful, and abundant in their careers. If that's something that is of interest to you, then there's a link in the description. You can book a call and speak to me, and we're going to talk about why you're feeling unfulfilled at the moment. If you're feeling undervalued, if you're experiencing self-sabotage, if you tell yourself, I'm a perfectionist and like it gets in my way, then we maybe needing to look into that. A lot of times perfectionism can be an excuse because there's a hidden fear there that you're yet to address. So if you're a woman who's very ambitious and wanting to progress to the next level in your career, but you just feel like there's a block, or you feel there's a bit of a fear that you're not addressing, or if it's that you're working in a certain job and you're just fed up and you're like, I don't know what my next step is. I'm seeking career alignment, then Flourish and Bloom may be for you. But before we can arrive to that conclusion, it would help to have a conversation to, number one, understand your challenges. Number two, see if we're a good fit. And then number three, see if the program is actually for you. So be sure to book that call and we can have that conversation. But yes, back to regular scheduling. Hopefully one day I'll get comfortable to like just segue things into I'm trying to like smooth transition, and sometimes I get awkward, especially because I'm doing like the videos now. It just throws me off sometimes. But anyways, guys, you did not need to hear that like little monologue going on in my head, but anyway, you heard it. Moving on to the sixth lesson is the importance of certainty. So I've actually written that, guys, if you haven't already listened to that episode, make sure you do. It's called, I think it's got radical self-belief in the title. I can't remember the exact title, but it speaks about the importance of radical self-belief. I stand by it wholeheartedly. I've really getting to really and truly believe in myself and connecting to myself, which I'll come on to that in a second, because that's another lesson for my personal growth. But the importance of certainty. I actually was reading this book called A Happy Pocket Full of Money, which I highly recommend. I actually did a book recommendation about that, and I did a whole episode, which you're going to hear. You might hear it just after this one, actually, or it might be in January. But anyways, in the book, it talks about in the focus of the book is about financial growth and financial wealth, but it talks about the importance of certainty and feeling and knowing that you are wealthy, feeling and knowing that you are rich is important to be rich. I find this is very relevant to your personal growth as well. And the book actually makes a bold statement. And in the book, it says failure does not exist. And I kind of get what he means, especially he's like, if you're certain of what you're going to do, then failure does not exist. Because when you think about it, if you tell yourself, I'm trying to think of an excuse, not an excuse, I'm trying to think of a goal to set. So if you tell yourself, I'm going to be fit, right? Or I'm going to be a certain dress size, or I'm going to have this amount in my bank account, if you stay certain that it's going to happen and you stay consistent and you stay focused, then really, how can you fail? Even if you, what some people might call failure, right? If you say, I'm gonna, I don't know, I'm gonna have this X amount in my bank account by this time. Number one, go back to, I mean, first point, go back to what I was saying about that man-made construct and understanding that these are arbitrary times. We set ourselves an arbitrary deadlines. But when we talk about the importance of certainty, ultimately in personal growth, I'm finding that if I set my mind to a goal and I confidently tell myself I'm going to achieve it, it's like my mind, my consciousness just opens up all these doors and windows to ensure that come what may, come rain or shine, I'm going to achieve it. And actually reminds me of someone I knew when I was much younger. We went to school together. We're not close anymore. We used to be friends in school, but I used to admire how right from being a child, she knew she wanted to be an actress, and she was so confident and so bent on the fact that she wanted to be an actress. And yes, she is an actress now. And I was like, wow, like she set her mind to it and she's done it. So I do believe in personal growth and wanting to achieve things in life, that certainty is important. If you tell yourself you can do it, you're going to consistently take action to achieving it. And your mind will keep going, your consciousness will keep going till you have arrived at the point. Like, I guarantee you, try it in 2024. Tell yourself you're going to do something and then stay certain that it's going to happen come rain or shine, and see how your level of discipline, your willpower is just going to kick in and you will get what it is you want to get. Like, try it, just try it and let me know in 2024. Like, I'm excited for you to try it. But moving on to point number 7, which I was already starting to touch on point 6, is that connection to self is crucial in your personal growth journey. If you're wanting to achieve anything, accomplish anything in life, I'm finding that even if to just feel more confident as a person, your connection to self is important. You guys will know because I do constantly say it, that I meditate every day, like without fail since April. I've been meditating every single day, and like in the past, I'd meditate on and off. I do yoga. For those of you who don't know, I am a qualified yoga teacher as well. So during my yoga teacher qualification, we would be encouraged to meditate, and I do it every now and then and dibble dabble. But since April, I've been meditating every single day, and I feel so much more connected to my intuition. I feel so much more connected to myself. And why it is important for your personal growth is, remember I was talking about certainty, remember I was talking about consistency, what improving your relationship with yourself. Remember I was talking about not like stepping away from setting unrealistic expectations. Well, when you improve your connection to yourself, you start to understand your boundaries. You start to understand what is possible for you. You start to understand what is impossible for you. And you also start to understand what you truly want in life. And that connection to self is what will fuel your certainty. It's that connection to self that will start to make you realize, yes, you do deserve whatever it is you're asking for. Yes, you can have what it is you're seeking. And connection to self will start to understand, like, the limitless possibilities that us humans have. Like, guys, we have so much potential as humans. Our consciousness is just so powerful and we don't know it. Like, honestly, you do not know it. But if you start to meditate constantly and start to increase your connection to self, you're going to notice like your personal growth is just going to skyrocket. Like, it really, building a connection to self, it quiets your external mind, which I talk about this in an episode, you're going to watch it in January, but I talk about connection to self being so important because at this point in time, a lot of us, we see ourselves as bodies with a soul or with consciousness, when in reality we should see ourselves as consciousness with a body. And that might sound so trivial, but it's actually very important when you look into it, because if you see yourself as just a physical body with with consciousness, think about the limitation you've created because you're trapping your consciousness within your body. But if you see yourself as consciousness with a body, then that automatically removes you from the box you've put yourself in. A lot of us limit ourselves, we limit our potential, we limit the dreams we dare to have because we are stuck in the physical. We are stuck in identifying with just us as a body, when if you really tap into your consciousness and you explore your internal self, you understand that you can do so much more than you're currently doing. So that's a big lesson you want to take away into 2024, which is connection to self is very crucial. And lesson number 8, which I did a whole episode on this, so definitely check it. I keep telling people, this is like, listen to this episode. It's my favorite episode from season 1. It's called Your Comfort Zone is a Trap. I'm clicking for myself. I made that point and I'm a click for the point I made. Your comfort zone is a trap. This is something I truly learned in 2023, because so often I've noticed now, in the past, I tell myself, oh, well, I tried and I failed. But now I know that that's a whole load of nonsense. Actually, what was happening is I was self-sabotaging because I didn't believe in myself. Every time I'd step out of my comfort zone, I'd get scared and then I'd run back into my comfort zone and I'd go, well, at least I tried. When I didn't even allow myself because like consistent, I didn't allow myself even like try and actually go outside of my comfort zone. Guys, knowing that your comfort zone is a trap is going to be a game changer in your personal growth, because a lot of times, if you think about it, when you think about comfort and really look into this episode, listen to that episode, Your Comfort Zone is a Trap. Your so-called comfort zone is very stagnant. Like, it's very hard for anything to grow in your comfort zone. Growth only happens in discomfort. Just think about it. Like, I'm going to leave it there and I'm going to tell you to listen to that episode, Your Comfort Zone is a Trap. But one lesson you want to take into 2024 is understanding that that so-called comfort zone is what is stopping you from growing, is what is stopping you from having the life you want to have. And that moves on to lesson number 7. I like this one as well. I might make a whole episode about this as well in the new year. But it's self-discipline and willpower and not magical pills. I'm going to pause there and I want you to digest that. And then I'm going to repeat it. Self-discipline and willpower and not magical pills. Guys, when I tell you, like, this really hit me in 2023, because the amount of times I used to, like, now I laugh when I think about it, but the amount of times I would just be like, I just lack self-discipline. And I would see someone who's like consistently going to the gym. I'm like, they're just like, they're just so strong-willed. They just have so much willpower, and they're just so disciplined. Like, how many times have you heard people say they're just so disciplined? And I used to say that about other people. I used to be like, well, this person's so successful because they're so disciplined. And I have noticed that a few friends of mine, when they see me like consistently swimming, they see me consistently posting for the podcast, they're like, oh my God, like, you just have so much discipline. Like, people act like these are just pills you just like, or I just took that pill and that's why she's now so disciplined. It's nonsense. Like, guys, I learned this, and I think a lot of the reasons we've learned this as well is through the personal growth space and the self-help space. I think there is a tendency for people to kind of like, because they want to sell you things, right? They kind of package it like, oh, don't worry, like, I can just help you do this, and then you just get like self-discipline. Or a lot of us just convince ourselves and make up these excuses in our head, like, this person's successful just because they have willpower. Willpower is a behavior. And the great thing we know about behaviors is they can be learned or unlearned. So if you want willpower, stop waiting for a magic pill. There is no magic pill. It does not exist. If you want self-discipline, it's not like people are just born and from birth they are self-disciplined. No, it's that the environment is encouraging them to have that self-discipline. And you can actually train your brain, you can train yourself to have that discipline. You can train your mind to be able to go exercise 3-4 times a week. You can train your mind to start a business. You can train your mind to stay consistent when it comes to your goals. Stop thinking that X person is successful because they just naturally are self-disciplined and you're not. Like, I used to tell myself this nonsense and it was really impacting my growth and I didn't even realize it. But now I've come to that realization. You best believe I'm going to take that lesson into 2024 and keep it going. I'm going to take it and run. So I hope you take that lesson and you take it and run as well, because it's going to change your 2024 once you start to understand that willpower is something you can create within yourself. It's something you can train yourself to have. Same as self-discipline. Stop looking for the pill out there to take and work on building your willpower, work on building your self-discipline, and you will see the difference it makes in your life. And saying that, we're on to the final point, which is drum roll. I wonder how long this is actually. I've lost track of like how much. Oh my God, for a second I thought I didn't press record. I nearly like fainted. But anyway, the last point, the last lesson I want to take into 2024 is that your emotions are your superpower, which, if any of you have noticed, that's the tagline for the Fierce Feminine Rising. It says fine-tune your emotional superpowers. Guys, like I was saying in point 9, in lesson number 9, like understanding you can build willpower, you can build self-discipline. The way I've built my self-discipline and the way I've built willpower this 2023 has been through improving my relationship with myself. It's been through redefining my fear. Like, what does fear mean to me? It's been through redefining my relationship with fear as well, and understanding that just because I'm scared doesn't mean I'm not going to do it. I can do things in spite of the fear. That has been the biggest game changer for me. So now I understand that my superpower is my emotions, but more importantly, the relationship, the healthier relationship I have now with my negative emotions, with my fear, with my insecurity, with my self-doubt. That is my superpower. That is what is going to give me the life I desire. That is what is going to give me my dream career, my dream life, my dream bank account, my dream everything, you name it, my dream lifestyle. That is what is giving me my dream lifestyle. Understand that the emotions that a lot of people have taught you is bringing you down, especially as women. That's not the case. The issue is that a lot of us have not been taught how to regulate our emotions in the right way, and sometimes we let our emotions get the best of us, when actually, if you start to truly understand your emotions and if you have the right tools and resources, you can channel your emotions to make you more motivated. You can channel your motivations to help you stay consistent, channel your emotions to increase your level of willpower, increase your self-discipline. Like, guys, I'm telling you now, like, there was nothing you could tell me in the past that would increase my willpower, that will increase my level of self-discipline. But since I've been working to have healthier relationships with my fear, if you're thinking, how do you do that? Well, girl, book the call. We can talk about it in Flourish and Bloom, which, again, fun fact, like, Flourish and Bloom is packaged and targeted towards your professional life, but every lesson you learn from there is going to impact all other areas of your life. It's just that, you know how marketing works. Like, if you don't talk to a specific niche, then a lot of people might miss out on what you're trying to say. But saying that to say that the emphasis on Flourish and Bloom is to get women to start to be more confident through their emotions, through understanding their emotions, be better at understanding how their fear works and using it to like befriending their fear. Like a lot of Flourish and Bloom is based on that emphasis, and to essentially fine tune your emotional superpowers so you can be the awesome, amazing woman you are. If you're a man who's listened to this whole thing and thought, I was listening to this whole thing and now she's saying, woman, am I not allowed to listen? Men are welcome as well. You can take some of the lessons as well, but that's fine. Just know that my emphasis is on women. But of course, everything I've spoken about applies to all genders, really, right? Anyways, on that note, I'm going to end it there. Guys, once again, I wish you a lovely happy new year in advance, and you'll probably get to listen to another episode before the new year, but if not, then I want to wish you a very happy new year, and I look forward to speaking to you in January. Take care.